Howdy everybody and welcome back to the Game Team. And yes, my theory from last week seemed to be correct as this was a slower week for the industry, but that doesn't mean we don't have stuff to talk about. We have some good news, bad news, funny news, and yeah, well, you get the idea. But before we get to our headlines, I wanted to take a moment to highlight the release of Wargame, The Making of S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2, a documentary by S.T.A.L.K.E.R following the development of S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 by GSC Game World, a Ukrainian game studio. I just finished watching it and it's a beautiful story. Seeing the devs bring their dream game to life in the middle of the war Ukraine is facing is honestly so beautiful. I highly recommend you go give it a watch, and I'll be linking it in the description below. I give my best wishes to the team at GSC Game World. Naoki Yoshida, otherwise known as Yoshi P, the lead producer of both Final Fantasy XIV and 16, held an interview this week talking about 16 potentially landing on Xbox now that the game has launched on PC. Yoshida in a statement said, "Of course, we did announce the PC version of the game, so looking towards the Xbox version, we do want to release it on Xbox. I want to say, it's not as if there's zero hope, and we very much do want to achieve that." Final Fantasy XVI launched as a PS5 exclusive last summer, and with its PC launch and the Pixel remasters making their way to Xbox, I wouldn't be surprised if we see 16 on the console sometime in the next year or so. I personally loved the game a lot, and would love to see more players get the chance to play it. This next headline is actually a pretty funny story. Tekken 8 had a huge update this week as Heihachi Mishima made his triumphant return to Tekken as he did not actually die, and a new free story expansion arrived with Unforgotten Echoes. While doing the rounds for the newest update, Katsuhiro Harada mentioned in an interview with The Gamer that he actually tried to get Colonel Sanders to appear in the game. Yes, that Colonel Sanders, the iconic mascot and founder of beloved fast food chain Kentucky Fried Chicken. Man, like we're really scraping the bottom of the barrel for news this week, aren't we now? Harada said that he went down to the head KFC offices in Japan and was very sadly turned down. This probably could have been something really beautiful if I'm being honest, and maybe Harada's dream can come true one day and we'll see Colonel Sanders in the Tekken roster. The Sims 4 is getting a spooky new expansion titled Life and Death. I usually don't like to highlight the new Sims expansion packs because there's basically like a new one every day of the week, but I think this one deserves to be covered because it actually looks pretty cool. Priced at $40 and launching on October 31st, this new expansion will give players the ability to become the Grim Reaper and explore the afterlife. This is literally something my brother dreamed about doing when we were younger. The expansion will also give players the option to plan funerals, reincarnate old Sims, and live in the new world Ravenwood with 3 spooky neighborhoods. This looks like the perfect kind of experience to jump into on Halloween when it releases, so I'm looking forward to it. Video game journalist Jason Schreier set to release his new book, Play Nice: The Rise, Fall, and Future of Blizzard Entertainment, which is about, well, Blizzard. And in the lead up to its release, some snippets from the book have made it to the news, and I thought I would highlight 2 stories from it. The first was that it seems Netflix and Blizzard were working on adapting both Overwatch, Diablo, and StarCraft into animated series for Netflix, until Netflix was sued by Activision Blizzard. The former FO of Blizzard, Spencer Newman, was fired by the company when he breached his contract to become the CFO over at Netflix. This happened during the negotiations for the animated series and led to the cancellation of the 3 series. It does show that there was an interest in expanding the IPs, and hopefully we can get those animated series one day. The second story I want to cover is one that's a bit more positive. Schreier confirmed in the book that Blizzard is working on a StarCraft shooter. This game is apparently very early in development, and with the track record of cancelled StarCraft shooters like StarCraft Ghost, it may never actually come to fruition, but it's good to see that Blizzard's still trying to crack that formula and make millions of fans' dream come true finally. Pocket has announced a deal with Krafton that will bring a version of Palworld to mobile devices in the future. This deal comes at a weird time since, as we told you last week, Pocket is facing a lawsuit from Nintendo and the Pokemon Company. I assume this mobile version will be free, as Krafton's mobile games usually are, but Who knows if this will even come to fruition due to the lawsuit. This seems to be another step in Krafton growing as a publisher after acquiring Tango Gameworks from Microsoft, who is now working on a sequel to Hi-Fi Rush. The head of Krafton, Maria Park, said the goal is to bring the game to more platforms such as the Switch and develop some DLC. She also shared that when acquired, Tango had a 6-month build of the game's sequel that is apparently aiming for a more open world format compared to the first game. As of this time, around 70 to 80 of Tango's 90-person staff is apparently back at the studio, which is great to hear. I loved Hi-Fi Rush, and I really hope that Tango gets to make that sequel they really wanted to make. The developers over at Saber Interactive announced that Avatar: The Last Airbender is getting a AAA action RPG. This game is set to be made for consoles and PC and will follow an all-new Avatar from thousands of years before the Nickelodeon series. This isn't the only RPG that Saber is developing, as they are currently in charge of the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake. And of course, with the recent release of Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2, it seems the studio is all in on making the licensed games of our dreams. In a statement, Saber said, players can expect to master all 4 elements, engage in dynamic combat with companions, and make decisions that will have you balancing the world. Who knows how many years away this game is, but I'm very excited to see a full-blown Avatar game finally getting made. Hideo Kojima, the creator of Metal Gear Solid and Death Stranding, sat down with Variety of all places this week and talked about what his future looks like. And the answer seems to be Hollywood. Kojima signed a deal with talent agency WME to explore options in both TV and film. This ties directly into his plan for Kojima Productions. He called this a 3-phase plan. Phase 1 is Death Stranding and establishing the game brand and IP, plus getting the game on multiple platforms. Phase 2 is expanding the IP to other forms of media, like TV and film. That brings us to the mysterious Phase 3, which is described as working with talented people from around the globe and creating new digital content. Who knows what the hell that means? But with Kojima at the helm, I'll definitely be keeping an eye on it. That wasn't the only Kojima related news this week, though, as we got a look at Death Stranding 2's photo mode, which looks eerily lifelike, like it's really awesome. The magic Kojima Productions has been working with the Decima engine is amazing, and I'm super excited to see the tech evolutions the studio will keep pushing. It won't be long till we see what they are cooking up though, as Death Stranding 2 on the Beach is currently slated for a 2025 release. And that's basically it for the week, but I do have something to share though that I thought was pretty awesome. Hans Zimmer and Lauren Balfe were announced as the composers of Dragon Age: The Veilguard's main theme, and it sounds amazing. I'll be leaving a link to it down below, so go ahead and give it a listen. I highly recommend it. With that said, this has been the Game Ping. We'll be taking a 1-week break next week as I have some events that I have to attend to. But remember to hit that like button, subscribe, and click the bell icon to be notified when we are back from our break. I've been your host, Brandon Elanese. See you all soon.